Welcome to FBB Forum. Thank you all for helping me reach 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I appreciate your support. For my last interview of 2023, I'm very pleased to welcome the stunning IFBB Pro women's physique competitor, Monica Perez, to the podcast. Monica earned her pro card at the 2020 NPC Universe and last competed in 2021. But the most exciting news, though, is Monica appeared in the A24 film Love Lies Bleeding, which features a female bodybuilding character in the lead. Stay tuned to find out more about Monica's experience in the movie and where she will compete next. Welcome, Monica. It's so good to have you here.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it, David.
Thank you. Now, my first few questions are about how you got started in bodybuilding, and I was wondering if you had an athletic or a sports background before you started in the sport.
I do. I've always been an athlete. I've played, besides soccer, basketball, soccer being more of a preference. I'm an avid mountain biker for over 20 years. And then right before bodybuilding, I actually retired playing banked track roller derby to start bodybuilding.
Wow.
Bank track roller derby, I was eating upwards of 10,000 calories a day, couldn't break 115, 120 pounds because of
Wow.
the activity we were doing. Was introduced to the gym during that time during my last season. Girlfriend and I, who both played, said, let's go to the gym, let's get strong, let's go out with the bang. And that's where I met my first real life female bodybuilder, Shauna Pierce, otherwise known as Shauna Strong. And I retired bank track roller derby because I said, I want to do this. This is what I want to do. When I saw her again live in person, we took pictures. It was amazing. To this day, that was over 10 years ago. To this day, we are actually good friends. I got to see her last night, so that was really surprising, and I was grateful to see her again because she moved out of the country. But yeah, bank track roller derby was my very last sport before I retired, and now I'm a female bodybuilder.
That's so cool. I was curious with roller derby, that's can be rough sport. Did you get injuries and stuff during doing that? Or
Nothing where I had to go to the hospital, but I saw that a lot. Lots of ankles, knees, rods in legs, concussions. I have to say, I did very well in bank track roller derby, which allows you to not get hurt so much. Yeah, very dangerous sport, but I loved it. I love the physical contact. I love that aspect of it, as well as just lots of alpha females. So being around a lot of alpha females, it has its pros and cons, but I met about a handful of women that I'm still really great friends with to this day.
that's terrific. And I remember Shauna Strong, and we talked about it before. I think she did an interview, I think just recently, I think with Dee Dee on the Spot.
I believe
And,
so.
and she moved to New Zealand, which is kind of crazy. It's it's a
Yes,
long ways to go. But
yes,
yeah, she's awesome
yeah,
bodybuilder for sure.
she's doing great.
Now, I was curious, in terms of your first contest, did Shauna kind of convince you to do your first contest, or I guess she inspired you?
She just inspired me to actually to enter the world of bodybuilding in general.
Yeah.
We did. She was just busy with her own schedule. I trained with her a few times throughout the years when she was local, so that was great. Definitely, it was great to have a female to ask questions who's experienced in the industry, pros and cons. She was completely transparent and honest with everything, and again, I appreciate her for that. Even though I had a male coach during that time, she was just able to kind of give her insight and suggestions. So she wasn't there during any of my shows, but again, I wouldn't be a female bodybuilder if I hadn't seen her in person. And again, she didn't have to be, we didn't have to take it any further, but we just remained, we remained in contact and then again became friends organically. So I thought it was
Oh,
great.
that's terrific. Now, I was curious when you first went up on stage in a bikini, was it kind of nerve-wracking and do you get nervous these days at all on stage?
Not at all. I think I'm just used to I'm just used to being in a crowd with the sports that I've been in competitively. That it just your mind your mental state becomes or I'm sorry, your mental state just becomes that competitive person, and everything else just gets turned off. There was nothing. Yeah, no no anxious anxiety. Nothing like that. I think everything was fine that I can remember. It's just a fun. It's more about seeing what you've worked up to being displayed, and I love that.
That's cool. Yeah, that's good way of putting it. I like that. Now, now the big news, like I mentioned in the intro, was that you're going to be at a movie, at a big screen movie, A24 with Kristen Stewart and Ed Harris as the stars. I was curious, and it's called Love Lies Bleeding. I was curious, is
Yes,
this the first time that you've appeared in a movie?
it is. It is the first time I appeared in a movie. And the way that that happened is Renee Cossio and her husband Tim live there. She's a female bodybuilder as well, women's physique competitor, and they live in New Mexico. There are tons of opportunities there for movies, being in films, commercials, etc. She
Hmm.
called me one day and said, "Hey," and I knew that she was in a movie, her and her husband, and they were currently filming. She called me and said, "Hey, they're still looking for female bodybuilders. Would you be interested?" Call this woman, send her your pictures. This literally happened at 8 in the morning. By 8:30, the producer had my pictures. So I literally just woke up and took best time to take pictures first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Then we were speaking within another half hour. Within another an hour, my plane ticket was already arranged. They already had me, coming over that night. So it was a pretty fast process, and I was there that evening, and we started filming the next day. So it was a great. It has a great positive impact on me because it was such a short. It's like so many positive things and new experiences happen in such a short period.
Yeah.
This literally happened Wednesday night. I was there Thursday. We filmed Thursday, Friday night. I was back home.
Wow.
So it was interesting. The whole experience was great. Just being on a movie set in general. Um, and unfortunately, these big name stars were not there. They filmed in
Oh, they
another
weren't?
location.
Oh,
They were
really?
not. They were not part of the scenes that we were filming there.
Oh, I
They
see.
had taken over a hotel, turned it into this 80s neon, like what it would have been back then, like the set. It was amazing.
Really?
All of I mean, my hair was teased. The big 80s, had the big 80s bangs. It was awesome. And they airbrushed all of my tattoos, which it was great and interesting to see myself with no tattoos because in the 80s, no one had these tattoos.
Yeah,
Uh,
I see. Oh, that
so
makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
so I almost there was there when I was in makeup, they the one of the head makeup people there had to call in someone. I'm not sure who they were, but they said, look at these tattoos. Like, do we want this? Do we want to take the time to, they were basically saying, do we want to waste our time airbrushing this person or just bring somebody else in? So they
Hmm.
did a test run on my arm, which took seconds, and they said it looks good. Keep going. So I
Hmm.
kind of lucked out. But
That's
yeah,
really
but
cool.
every morning, well, first of all, we couldn't take a shower for the whole 2 days because they just kept, piling it on, and they kept teasing the hair. They wanted it, nice and dirty so that they could get that height in there. They literally came in the next day and said, make sure her hair's higher. So it
I see.
was fun. It was a lot of fun, just meeting the people and seeing how a movie set works from, from us doing some repetitive scenes over and over and over again to, they had their, during all their scenes when there were fights and things like that, just seeing how those were set up. It was very interesting, the whole experience. Producer Rose, amazing person to work with, very soft spoken but firm. Everyone listened when she was speaking. It was just great. And then even though we were there for hours on hours, we probably were only on stage for maybe 3-4 hours total
Really?
the whole day. It was just
Wow.
kind of hanging out until they called us up again, hanging out until they called us up again. And so
Wow.
we were continuously pumping up. It's like, you guys are gonna get ready to go, and here we are, pumping up.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, that was interesting. It was also interesting. I was the person who helped out with getting them ready to pose because they just kind of had us go up there and like, okay, what do you do? Like, well, in a real show, this is what you would do. So Rose came up, she wrote down, everything that we would have done as far as our posing required poses, and kind of picked and choose what she thought, she wanted to see. And then we all practiced that together as a group. And this is the female portion because they had male as well. This is the female group. And then, they got what they wanted. And then we just continued to do that. So it was a lot of
Wow.
fun. And then Renee's husband, Tim, he was one of the fake judges down there. So, at the end of the day, he's like, you won the posing, you won the
Oh,
posing aspect of it. but it was, again, great experience. To have a trailer with all the, food, like it was a real movie set.
Yeah. How many bodybuilders were there, female bodybuilders?
So there was as far as the final lineup that ended up on stage, besides, okay, so there's Katie, who actually looked amazing. I'm not sure who her coach was, but they got her ready for this role. She's the main character.
Yeah.
She looked amazing. I was the only IFBB Pro, and then the rest were WBFF.
Oh, yeah.
Women that they brought in from LA, they looked amazing as well. They were just come off a show, so they were shredded. So there's a pretty good lineup there of women.
Yeah, Katie O'Brien is the star of the movie. It's her first lead, I read too, the
Mhm.
first time she's led a film. But I was curious, did you help her get up to speed in terms of bodybuilding? And you mentioned posing, and I didn't know if you'd helped her prepare it all for those scenes and the training and such.
So in general, no. While on set, when we eventually had everyone doing the same poses, she was brought in and she kind of went through her routine. But like
Oh,
personally, one on one, no. She just kind of she went with the flow, fast learner. As far as training and all that, nothing at all to do with any of that. Like I said, whoever trained her, they did an amazing job. She looked amazing. She looked great.
hmm.
She actually had a posing routine that she does, and it gets a little dramatic. I won't give it away, but it gets a little dramatic on stage, and she looked amazing. She did just like any other. Her routine was the level that I've seen at shows. So
That's
she did an amazing job.
interesting. Yeah, I
Mhm.
know she's a MMA fighter, I think, but I think this is probably the first time she's ever done
Yeah,
bodybuilding before, bodybuilding show type thing. So
it was
that's
great.
really cool. Now, I was curious, um, I didn't know if you could give a quick synopsis of the film, or do you know offhand? I didn't, or I don't know if you can even reveal that.
Well, okay, so without giving anything away, Katie O'Brien, female who wants to be a bodybuilder, big dream, on her way to Las Vegas to compete. She had already been training and preparing for this show. She stops at a little town where she meets Kristen Stewart, and the whole romantic scene evolves there. And then there's some drama in there, but they still make it to Las Vegas. She still gets to compete, and like I said, there's some drama in there, and there's very suspenseful moments in there. But yeah, she makes it to the stage, which is where we come into play, and the bodybuilders. But yeah, I won't give the ending away, but it's a great story, drama, suspense, romance, and bodybuilders.
That's terrific. I hope you get to go to the premiere too. They should have like a pose down for the premiere, I think.
That would be great. They should have bodybuilders lined up on the red carpet.
Yes, that would be awesome. I think so. Yeah, and your posing suits and stuff. That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's an idea.
that's really cool. Now, I didn't know. So I didn't know if you'd be considered too big to be an '80s bodybuilder because we're not in the '80s anymore.
I definitely was the biggest one there, 100%. Again, 100%, I was the biggest one there, but they were okay with it. So
Wow.
I'm curious to see how everything looks on stage, because there were so many different physiques, heights, weights, levels of conditioning. So I'm curious to see what that end, stage shot's going to look like.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And like you mentioned too, having a female director, Rose Glass. I think that's kind of cool having a female perspective. I bet.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then they were all four of all the female bodybuilders that were brought on set. Like they were in awe. Like, wow, look, like I said, some of them were super conditioned, just getting off stage to size. So yeah, they were totally supportive.
Hmm, that's awesome. Um, and I think I mentioned to you before that I actually saw the preview for Love Lies Bleeding, and when I saw the movie Poor Things, and it was the first preview, and then it actually had the scenes where you're posing, or what I think it was Katie posing, but with the lineup and everything too. So yeah, I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, so am I. It's gonna be interesting. I'm pretty sure that our parts and roles are probably smaller as far as time goes than later in the film.
Mhm.
Still curious, still excited to see it though.
Oh no, it's going to be great to see, and to see somebody like on the big screen is amazing. Like my cousin is an actor, and he's was in the first Captain America movie,
Oh,
but
wow.
but to see his head so huge, like somebody so well, and that's going to be weird for you to see yourself on the big screen. I bet that'd
I
be.
think so. I think it will be. But again, super excited to see it.
No, exactly. Yeah, I think it's exciting. And that, some pretty good pedigree too. So maybe you'll get like awards and stuff for it. That'd be pretty
Yeah, we'll
cool.
see, we'll
So,
see, we'll see. And I do know that, I mean, there is a huge industry out there, especially in New Mexico, where, like I said, my friend Renee and her husband Tim, like they're always doing something or another out there with production movies, whether it's a small role or not. And obviously in LA, there's a huge need as well. But if somebody was looking to do that all the time, it's there. Like it really is there. As long
I
as you
bet,
get,
yeah.
get your name on a list, network with these producers and whatnot, they're going to call you back because they remember you if they need someone who fits the bill.
That's really cool. Yeah. And you're in Arizona, so you're pretty close by to New Mexico.
Correct.
I
Correct.
wonder if New Mexico is good for that because one of those states where they give a lot of incentives for the films.
100%. The
Yeah.
tons of huge film industry over there.
Wow, that's really cool. Yeah, you can tell looking at the preview, it looks like it was filmed out in the desert there.
Yeah. But yeah, unfortunately, we didn't get to partake in any of the other scenes with the the stars, celebrities out there. But I believe a lot of that was actually filmed in LA, is what we were told.
Oh, really?
So we did
Yeah.
the hotel scene, and then a lot of the I guess the beginning of the movie was filmed out in LA.
Okay. That's very cool. Yeah. Um, I, it is kind of ironic, I think, with the 80s, because it seemed like 80s there was more TV coverage of bodybuilding because, NBC was covering the Olympia and some of the other pro
Hmm.
shows. So,
I
yeah,
remember that.
yeah, I wish we could get back on TV again.
100. I'm not sure how, I'm not sure if that's a relationship building thing. Is it a monetary thing? Does somebody have to, sponsor that? Probably 100%.
Mhm.
But yeah, that would be interesting. Even if it's just Olympia coverage, they start off with, that number one show, maybe
Mhm.
the Olympia, then the Arnold, then, hitting other shows and kind of see how that evolves. And maybe that would get sponsors interested in helping to bring something like that to live TV.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I would love to see that. Yeah. Now, my next few questions are about competing, and I was curious, how long have you been competing, and when and where was your first bodybuilding show?
I believe I'm going on 10 years now, if I haven't hit that already. And my first show was a local show here. And actually, I take it back. My first show that I prepped and did the Muscle Beach contest show before my actual NPC show, first NPC show in Arizona. So that was a lot of fun. Muscle contest, if you're not a pro, highly suggest you do that show. It's fun. It's on the beach, outdoors, and the prizes are amazing. But the people are really into it. They're just strangers, besides the family members and friends. You just have strangers stopping by because they're so used to that type of environment. And it was great just to have that support and those people yelling for you that you don't even know, yelling, wow, you look great, keep going, you look amazing, don't stop. It was a great experience. So again, highly recommend, if you have not done the Muscle Beach contest and you're not a pro yet, do that show. The best $50 you'll ever spend. I'm not sure if they've raised it since, but again, best show. Highly recommend that. And okay, so I did that show just kind of test out my routine, and then I came back home and I competed here in a Miles show, and as figure. So I actually started out as, let me take it back. I started out as figure. I did a figure show first. They told me that my legs were too big. If I wanted to stay in that category, bring my legs down or bring my upper body up and move to women's physique. So I told my coach at the time, Bo Moraga, who's a local coach here in Arizona, no, I want more. Let's take a year off, build my upper body. So my first show technically was women's physique or women's figure. Then took a year off, built up the upper body, and then did the Muscle Beach contest show. And then from Muscle Beach contest, did a muscle contest actually in Arizona, in Culver City. I was the only women's physique competitor. I was starting to understand that there weren't a lot of women's physique competitors. I mean, and at that point, any of the shows I was at, there weren't even women's bodybuilding divisions.
Oh yeah.
So I was the only competitor at that show, which is unfortunate. And then I came to Arizona, participated in a show here where there were 7 of us, which was unheard of, and that was amazing. I did win that show, and that was amazing. Then I did a Dennis James show here. So all amateur as women's physique would have been muscle contest, a miles show here, and then Dennis James, which is also in Arizona. And I got second place in that show. And then from there, I went to the Universe and competed for the first time for my pro card. I did not win. I took 5th place in one of the categories. I compete in every category that pertains to me, and that was again a lot of experience, or lots of a great experience. And I love just to see what's out there, because when you are not quite networking yet and you don't see women like you at the gym, and you go to these contests and you see all this muscle, it's just it's great. I love it. I'm in heaven. Not at all. I mean, there's no negativity. I love to see women who have achieved this goal, because personally I know how hard it is to do that. Sometimes it comes easy for people, sometimes it's hard. It depends on your training style, etc. But just to see all this muscle in one spot, so that was a great experience. That was my first attempt at my pro card. Then let's fast forward to the first muscle contest had their first inaugural masters show in LA, and that would have been 6 months later. So I went there. I took 3rd in every category. So that was so first, 5th, then 3rd, and then fast forward the next year, which would have been 2020. Everything was shut down. My coach built a gym at his house. He said, "Let's keep going." I was able to continue my training, and unfortunately, the Universe, which is typically in the summer in New Jersey, wasn't happening because no one was going nowhere near the East Coast during COVID.
Yeah. That's
Was moved to November in North Carolina, and so that's the show that I won. I won 3 pro cards and 1 overall for
wow.
35 plus, and yeah, it was great.
3
It
pro
was it
cards.
was a
That's
great
awesome.
experience, and I got to eat the best coconut cake ever. I always tell people this story about a 12-layer coconut cake that I bought there.
Oh, that
So
sounds
North
good.
Carolina barbecue, vinegar-based barbecue sauce, and a 12-layer coconut cake. But yeah, I got my pro card there and took some time off. The next year is when I competed at Wings of Strength. So I've been 2021. I made my pro debut, 12th out of 16th. 2 weeks later, went to Reno and competed at Legion Sports Fest. Great show. Love that show. If anybody can do that show, I highly recommend that. Very well put together. Same thing with Wings of Strength, and I just love that it was here in my backyard.
Yeah.
So Legion, same thing. Legion's in Reno. Hop, skip, and a jump. 45-minute plane flight.
That's not bad.
Um, Not bad at all. And then Reno just was great as well, to not only just be around masters competitors and kind of see all those women, but also I was in the open as well, and I got to see people that I look up to, be on the same stage as me. So that was a great
Yeah.
experience.
I bet that's really cool. That Muscle Beach one you mentioned is really neat. I've seen pictures and videos of it, but it is so cool because it's outside. You'd never
Hmm.
see a show
Yeah.
outside like that. I would love to see a pro show like that too. That'd be
Oh,
awesome.
yeah, I'm not sure how that would be, because I mean, I think when we're on stage, we really depend on that light, the lighting, and
Hmm.
you can't really tell the beach what kind of lighting you want. You don't know if it's going to be a cloudy day or not.
That's true.
Thankfully, the times that I was on their stage, it was great. It was amazing. But I think they'd have to hit that, makeup, and because they actually don't want that. They actually say that they don't encourage tanning or makeup, because they want you to be, that natural outdoor look. There's a
Oh,
tanning booth. Everybody still tans, and you still prep, and you still get ready because you want to look your best.
yeah.
But yeah, if you come up and you don't have any of that, you actually don't get marked down.
Really? Wow, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah, that show is really neat. It's really interesting. Now, when do you hope to come back and compete again? Because I know the fans have been missing you.
So let's see, I decided to bring on a female bodybuilding coach, or coach who works with a lot of female bodybuilders. So I'm working with Branden Ray right now.
Oh,
He's
cool.
out of California, Long Beach, Venice area, and I started working with him in May. Since then, I put on a great amount of mass. I love it. And I want more. So we actually were just talking about this last night, planning for 2024. So I personally, because I just want to get bigger and bigger and bigger, but that's why you hire a coach to tell you when you're big enough.
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
we'll keep an eye on it, but I say the next like about 4 to 5 months, we'll kind of see where I'm at. And if I do a show this year at the end, it'll be more towards the end of the year. If I don't, definitely, first of 2025, which there's a new show here in Arizona called the Triple Dynasty.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
that would be an ideal show. It's, pros, female, love that. Andrea Shaw, Sydney, Whitney, and I love to support that as well. But that's also an Olympia qualifier, so I can't wait for it to be here. I want to see who shows up, how it's run. But that's definitely something that I would like to hit in 2025.
That's terrific.
Again, anything in my backyard, my family and friends would go because my family doesn't travel. So if I could do something here, and then also as a female bodybuilder. So that'll be my whichever show I hit next will be my first, my debut as a female bodybuilder.
Oh, really? For the women's bodybuilding division?
Correct. Yes, I am no longer a women's physique. I am moving up.
Wow, that's terrific. That's good news. That's
Yeah.
terrific. Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm
I'm
excited about Triple O Dynasty too, because I think that's going to be a really good show.
it is, and they have female bodybuilding.
Yes. And I know I noticed there was a couple of new shows for female bodybuilding versus shows being taken away, which seems to be the
Correct.
trend. But no, that's terrific. Oh, that's great. And
Yeah.
working with Branden Ray, I think it's going to help too, because he's got a lot of good experience, a lot of good athletes out there too.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, it's been a great experience so far. I mean, I've been networking. He's actually put me in contact with a couple of pros here, and we've actually started working out together, and it's a huge game changer. Working out
Wow.
with people who are on the same level as you or have the same goals, definitely a game changer.
Wow, that's terrific news. That's great. I was curious, in who do you have opposing coach too?
That would be Branden. Right now, Branden is everything. So
Yeah.
once we, once I line up a show, we'll kind of determine whether or not I need to bring on opposing coach. I'm actually pretty good with putting routines together for myself,
Mhm.
but that's what I think anyway. But when I put it together and I get some feedback, we'll determine if we need to bring somebody on board. So we'll get there when that happens. But as far as just my mandatories, Branden's been amazing, amazing, great. Little tweaks here and there, things that I never even thought to change myself. So it's
Wow.
yeah, he's been great with not only workouts, the training in general, but posing as well.
That's terrific. That's great. No, I'm excited for you. I was curious when you competed in 2021 with and that was your pro debut year, did you get feedback from the judges in terms of where they want you to improve your physique?
Yes, actually, it was filling in for me. I feel like my posterior chain has been something that's been lagging. Quads have always been there. Just more size on the upper body. Well, actually, here, let me retract that. It was posterior chain because I'm thinking my mind's going to female bodybuilding. But as a women's physique competitor, they wanted me to come in a little more conditioned, and then just make sure when you come in condition, you're obviously leaner. Make sure that it's filled in.
Okay.
So for me, it's more, glutes and hams have always been for me a problem area, or I don't say a problem area, but a lacking area.
Sure.
So because my quads are so big and just overpowering, it doesn't help at all. So that was something they asked me to do. I had time to come in leaner for the Legions show a couple of weeks later that I had already signed up for. And like I said, I forget the category, but I did place fifth in one of the categories. So it did help out, coming in a little leaner. So I just knew I had the marching orders. I wanted to kind of complete the season with that second show that I had already signed up for, and then just get back to it with, building that posterior chain and then a little more upper body. I feel like my legs just always happen to be overpowering, but that's all women's physique old news. Now we go
Yeah.
to female bodybuilding, and it's everywhere. Everywhere. Let's see, I over the summer I was about 155 pounds. Currently sitting at 175 pounds right now in six
Wow.
months. Putting on the mass where I need it. And I mean, I tell my coach like I want more, and that's me, more muscle. So yeah, I'm curious to see, what my physique's going to look like with the additional muscle once I do get lean. I definitely want to put on 15, 20 pounds stage weight. So if you look at my pictures that are on Instagram, I was about 132, 135 pounds at about maybe 9% body fat. So we'll see what that needs to be when, I get on stage as a female bodybuilder.
That's really exciting. Wow, I'm excited to see you on stage. That'll be great.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. I'm excited. I'm excited. I feel like I am a little, I don't want to use the word intimidated, but excited and anxious to be next to a female bodybuilder, that I
Mhm.
look up to, that I see, that when I look at them, I'm like, wow, they're huge. I want more. But a lot of in the past, when I've stood next to somebody, I'm like, wow, I'm okay. I do have the size. That's great. Now let's work on conditioning. Let's work on this. So it's definitely body dysmorphia, body female bodybuilding dysmorphia.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm excited to compare myself. I mean, that's what I'm doing this. I'm doing this to be judged. So I'm excited to be judged and judge myself as well.
that's very cool. That's very exciting for you. Yeah. And is it okay to mention your age?
Yes.
You're
Yes,
46,
I'm
you mentioned.
46 years old. Yes,
Yeah,
for at least another 6 months, 5 months.
that's awesome. Yeah.
Wow, that was scary to say. Check.
I was
But I
mentioning,
feel like I'm 25.
oh, nice. Very good. Yeah. That's bodybuilding's fountain of youth anyway, but
I agree. I agree. When I meet women, I'm like, wow, how old are you? They look amazing. They look amazing.
yeah, I was talking to you about Sherry Priami, and I think she's going to be 49 this upcoming year. But yeah, and she placed fourth at the Olympia, and I hopefully you'll get to
Yeah.
compete with her and some of the other ladies like her that are just
Oh, I
amazing in
love
their
that.
40s. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And the thing is like when originally I always thought, or initially when I first started, I'm like, wow, am I going to be competitive? Because I'm thinking of my number. Am I going to be competitive as a, when I first started, 30 something year old, then here we go, 40-year-old, am I still going to be competitive in the open? And I feel like, well, not I feel like the answer now is yes. This mature muscle is what they're looking for.
Hmm.
That's what they're getting, and it's only getting better.
That's awesome. No, I think that's terrific. And I think that's a good move for you to go to women's bodybuilding because I think you'll do great there. No, that's very
More to
exciting.
it.
Well, we're almost out of time. One thing I didn't ask you before we started, but I didn't know if you'd be willing to do a quick flex for me.
Oh, I mean, here, I can show you some. I don't know what you really want to see here. Let's see.
Oh, wow, you look great. Yeah, your traps
Yeah,
look amazing.
I'm definitely, like I said, it's, still soft. First time that I've actually had a what I would call like a real bulk, but loving it, accepting everything that's coming with it. And I cannot wait to get on stage as a female bodybuilder in, if not 2024, definitely 2025.
Well, that's terrific, Monica, and so excited to see you in the movie here soon too.
I appreciate it, David. I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica, and we'll get this posted soon. But thanks again, and best wishes to you in 2024.
Sounds good. Sounds great. I appreciate it. Again, thank you very much and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care.